Cityscape, brought to you by the Los Altos Art Docents. The goal of this lesson is to introduce you to architecture now and throughout history. Architecture is the art and the science of designing a building. You will have the opportunity to act as an architect by creating a facade of a building or two. A facade is the face of a building. Do you recognize this city? This painting was made by a local artist several years ago. It's downtown Los Altos. Recognize any of the facades or faces of stores you've been to? You might notice that the facade of each building looks different. We're going to look at some different architectural styles throughout history to inspire your own designs. Take a minute to look at the buildings here. Do you recognize any of them? What element do the buildings have in common? The main characteristic of this ancient style is the use of stone. For example, the pyramids in Egypt were built from local limestone. Vernacular architecture is buildings or structures that are built by locals for locals using local traditional methods, designs, and materials. Here we have Eastern and Middle Eastern architecture. What do these buildings have in common? The main characteristics of this style are domes, elaborate roofs, and the use of color. The style of the two buildings on the top row are called Greek, and the bottom row is called Greek Revival architecture. Greek Revival is the name given to modern architects who use elements of the ancient Greek style. What design element stands out in these examples? The columns. Vertical lines impart a sense of strength. Do you recognize any of these buildings? Roman and Romanesque architecture is shown here. The Romanesque style refers to later architecture which copied the old Roman buildings or used elements of that style. The main characteristic of Roman architecture is the arch, which allowed for more support for multiple floors or the heavy weight of transporting water. Here we have some examples of Gothic and Gothic Revival architecture. What are the main characteristics of this style? Pointed arches, flying buttresses, which are exterior supports, towers, and a rose window. Many universities and churches use this style. The Industrial Revolution introduced us to new materials to create structures. We see here examples using steel and tempered glass. Modern and contemporary architecture shows us free forms and curves. The design of skyscrapers and free-flowing forms were made possible with the invention of reinforced concrete, which is concrete poured into forms with steel rods inside. Now it's your turn to be the architect and design the facade of a building. Do a light sketch of a facade in pencil, then outline it with the dark marker or Sharpie. Color it in and cut it out. You can make your own design or bring in elements we've seen today. Try some with columns, arches, or domed roofs. Use your own imagination and create a form. Think about the purpose of your building. Is it a house, a residence, a shop? And what will it look like? Make a few different facades and put them together in a collage to make a full cityscape.